always the whiteboard.
So Will Wheaton published an article yesterday, probably in reaction to attacks on his friends, about trolls and anonymity. Now you see a bit of this around, and the thing is, an attack on trolls is an attack on online anonymity, and online anonymity is useful for people other than trolls. Anonymity is useful for political dissidents, for people reporting on crimes, especially crimes that come from positions of authority, like cops. All those camera phone videos you see of cops beating on a suspect with too much excessive force, you know, that kind of stuff would disappear. Transsexuals, porn stars, ex-porn stars. I mean, anyone who followed what was called the NIM wars on Google+, where they insisted on people using their real names, knows that it led to people being outed to their friends about their and family about their sexuality, and caused all sorts of problems. So anonymity has value, and it has value for people who aren't trolls. It protects people. People who are suffering from intimate partner violence can go online and anonymously get advice and help, and without being outed or found out, without making their situation at home difficult. So when you attack anonymity, whether it be under the pretense of attacking trolls or not, you stand to make things very difficult for a huge number of people. So there's a lot of pluses to anonymity, and Chan culture in particular really plays to this fact that, you know, online everyone can be equal, because, you know, your race, your sex, your colour, deformity, everything, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. You're boiled down to who you really are, what you say, or who you present yourself to be, at least. So it's the great equaliser, and that's something that is genuinely valuable, I think, even though occasionally bad things come out of it. You know, cut through all the bullshit. The point is that online anonymity has a huge upside for a huge number of people. It does also have a downside, and that's the trolls and abusers and harassers and doxers. But perhaps only 1 in 100 people are actually psychopaths. That's probably a shitty non-scientific survey that's taken from, but, you know, for sake of argument, 1 in 100 people are psychopaths. 1% of the population. That means in the average UK secondary school you're going to have met around 10 psychos, probably while they were swirling you. The internet, with a user base of around 3 billion, probably has about 30 million psychos on it, all told, and some proportion of those 30 million psychos will be trolls, will be bothered to make the effort to be a troll. Whatever the actual number, it's a small number, but it's a small number that can have a disproportionate impact. You know, so one troll deciding to really, you know, cause problems can flood a forum and affect hundreds, thousands, you know, even more users. They can make people's social media unusable and so forth. But at least if you don't block them, which is the obvious solution here. So it's a small number of people with a negative impact that can be big, but it's a negative impact that can be ameliorated entirely by controlling your input, by blocking, by muting, by reporting. And yeah, they'll probably be back the next day with another account, and you can do it all over again. The best way to ban and block people is probably to do it in such a way that they don't know that they've been blocked or banned. I don't know if that's what Reddit's shadow banning is, but it's an idea that's been passed around quite a bit. Serious trolls are being tracked down, and the people that harassed Carolyn Criado Perez, at least a couple of them, were tracked down, and they turned out to be just exactly the kind of people you would expect them to be. Sad, fat little, you know, basement dwellers doing, you know, really no actual harm. I felt sorry for them. If she just blocked and ignored them, that would have been it. But now, you know, those people and other people like them are facing down some fairly serious jail time for what? Spurious threats that don't mean anything, that are easily blockable and ignorable. And that's where the problem comes in, I think. It seems to have become politic for people to use the threats and harassment that they've got to prosecute their agenda. I mean, nobody who's been on the internet more than about 5 minutes should be taking this kind of thing seriously. Maybe that's a touch hypocritical of me, considering what happened recently, but that's the kind of harassment that I got was different to anonymous harassment. I have had harassment from named people, industry people, online personalities, people who aren't afraid to be themselves because they think what they're doing is the right thing. So I think that's a bit different to the kind of trolling that we're talking about. But if we look at Gamergate, we can see that people are using trolling as a weapon to hit the other side with, and so they seem to almost welcome being threatened, attacked, and treated poorly, harassed, doxxed, because it gives them another stick to beat their opposition with, even though their opposition has fuck all to do with what's going on. There's this divide between online and offline culture too, contextual meaning. I mean, if someone off the internet gets a letter through the mail saying, I know where you live, I'm going to come and cut your dick off or whatever, that's a real serious issue that people will probably react to. You get that online and you don't react to it. It doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't scare you. It shouldn't terrify you. It shouldn't drive you from your house. It's just some spurious online internet troll. It's meaningless. And the people who are really into the online culture know that, and they react differently. I mean, I've gone pretty cynical. I think a lot of the people overreacting, the literalies, are doing so on purpose because it gets media attention, because the media does not understand online culture. I mean, just look at the language you find on 4chan, 8chan, other chans. Fag is essentially meaningless. It's just a suffix. New fag, old fag, whatever. It's been stripped and robbed of all meaning. But to someone coming from outside, that's going to appear shocking. It's like the difference between the use of the word cunt in the UK and the US, and that's become something of a kind of stereotype and butt of jokes. But swearing really is different between different nations, and it doesn't necessarily have the same impact everywhere that you go. So, if we somehow do away with anonymity, we stand to do a lot of damage to a lot of people who seriously benefit from it. And trolls will usually find a way around it. Proxies. There's innumerable ways. Or part of the problem we have is there's no real effective way to block and ban these kind of people permanently. If we block IP addresses, we might be blocking out a cyber cafe or a shared dorm room, or people who use the same Wi-Fi router, or free Wi-Fi that you get in an airport or a pub or a bar. So in blocking that one person, you might end up blocking hundreds of people, and that's unfair to them because they've done nothing wrong. So what can we do? The only thing that works, and that's the reason it's become such a catchphrase really, is don't feed the trolls. If you don't give them a reaction, they've got no reason to keep coming back, really. If you do react, then they're going to get something out of it. And how otherwise would we deal with this? I mean, are we going to require everybody to have all their internet activity linked to their real name? That's going to screw people over. And even if we have some intermediary that supposedly guarantees your anonymity save when there's been wrongdoing, who's going to define what that wrongdoing is? The things that crimes are different in different countries already, and how are we going to decide when your information should be tracked down? Do you trust the government? Do you trust the authorities? Do you trust the police or the Secret Service or MI5 or whoever with that kind of responsibility? Do you trust them to have your best interests at heart? Or do you suspect that your data might be leaked, spied on, and so on anyway? Because it is already. This is the thing, they're already breaching our trust. And who else are you going to trust? Companies? Would you completely trust Google these days with all your information? And would you trust them not to cooperate with the authorities? I mean, they cooperated with China. There's that hackneyed Ben Franklin quote, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And you know, it still rings true. And that, again, like don't feed the trolls, that's why it gets repeated so often. So I'm sorry, but there's really, if you want the benefits, of anonymity, there is nothing you can do about trolls, at least at the internet level. Personally, at the personal level, you can block them, you can report them, you can mute them, you can grow a thicker skin, and you can learn how to deal with it and brush it off. And maybe that's what we need to be doing, teaching people basic internet survival skills so that they don't react, or rather overreact, in the kind of way that's just going to keep the trolls coming. Peace out.